Hey guys, this is an update on what's going on with the coronavirus and the stimulus package and what's happening a little bit around the world. First, let's go over the stimulus package because that's kind of the most important thing that's happening right now. Folks need money. The eviction protection thing ended yesterday or Friday. Unemployment ended from the government, at least, ended Friday. So that means actually Monday there's going to be a lot of landlords filing for eviction notices, and people are not going to have money to make arrangements to still pay rent. Even if they go to court, the landlord spend his money to evict people, different things. Is not going to be good next week. And speaking of that, unfortunately, the Republicans, all of them, have been debating over what to do about all of this. From the unemployment to the direct payments to getting the kids back to school, or some not going to go to school and they need to take care of those folks too. And obviously, they put other stuff in there like getting the roads fixed, tax cuts for the rich and famous, all of these things, which is delaying actual money in people's hands. But they are getting closer. Yesterday, they had some more proposals. These are proposals, and these proposals are told to specific people in the White House, and they tell people that's giving them an interview, reporters and things. And this is where we're getting all our information, but none of it is guaranteed. But with saying that, there is some things guaranteed because they all agree on. One, kind of a lot of people who is interested in this, SSI, SSDI, railroad retirement, the VAs are still going to get a check, this second one. They all agree on that. They also agree, which everybody else don't agree, not politicians, but the politicians agree that child support. Last time on the first stimulus check, these folks was eligible to get the money, but child support interrupted it the same way they do your taxes and other things, and took the money. But this time they put in the bill, which is a HEROES bill. Like the first one was the CARES Act, this is the HEROES. That child support won't be able to interrupt it. Folks who owe child support will be getting a check. Also, they still doing this debating on the dependents. You know, the first one, first stimulus check, grown dependents, or if you was 16 and you was on somebody's taxes as a dependent, either you didn't get money, or the person that you depended on or whatever that filed got $500. People that was going to college, they was 18 and older or whatever, and they was on somebody's dependent, they on taxes or whatever, they didn't get any money, nor did the person that filed for them. This time, they want to give those folks money, dependents, and they want to give them the whole $1,200. But all parties don't agree on that. Some want to keep it the way it was in the CARES because they're keeping some things the same in the CARES Act from what they say. Some don't. And they also still debating, which is crazy, because people next week ain't going to get no money. They also debating on unemployment amounts. There's going to be unemployment extension, but they want to know how much they're going to give folks. The Republicans want to give $100 a week, down from $600 a week. Of course, the Democrats not going for that. But both parties do agree that they don't want to give more money to folks on unemployment than they was making when they was working. I mean, reasons are obvious. I'm gonna stay on unemployment and make more money as long as I can, and not go back to work. It's gonna be hard to deal with that because guess what? The coronavirus is getting worse. States and places are slowing, opening, reopening, even shutting down some in some of these places, and it's going to get worse. And so I believe when they come back and they finally make a decision on all these things, which is hopefully this week because there's a lot going on next week when it comes to the 7th and 8th. You know, the senators are going on some kind of recess, and the House is going on a recess, and it's going to be through the whole month. And if they don't get things done then, because they're not going to be doing voting and different things, we'll be September before they make a decision, mid-September mid-September getting some money, which they can't do. So I'm kind of sure that they're going to get something done in the next week and a half on decisions and getting it signed. So by the end of August, we'll be getting a check, if not earlier. So they trying to say that on the unemployment that most likely they're going to agree on giving 70% of what a person was making when they was working. They got algorithms and your tax amounts. They got to go through all of that, which is going to delay things actually, more for people getting money. Because they got to take each individual on what they made and times 70%, and they give you that per week. So that's going to delay things. Now, with all that said, people going to recess, they arguing over things, and things like that. Even we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know how much money it's going to be. We don't know exactly when we're going to get it, but we do know we're going to get it. And they are saying it's going to be, we're going to get the money in August. So they need to take care of this soon. I don't know why they're delaying it. They got their motives. Any rate, that's on the stimulus package. We're going to get it. Really, ain't no big news change. There's a lot of speculations depending on who you're talking to. Only thing we all can agree on still is we're going to get it. And there's a couple of changes in there that we know that they all agree on. And we'll go from there. To be honest though, straight honest, every site, every place that's saying stimulus checks, we're going to get it and blase this, blase that, nothing is guaranteed. They haven't put nothing in writing and signed it. But, the odds are with us on some things. Now, things that's going on and causing all this, and obviously is one big thing, and that's the coronavirus. They saying it came from the CCP. That's China's government. The CCP is raising hell all over. China is all over the world. The Americans and Taiwan and a whole bunch of places, they already in the China Sea, causing problems with China because China trying to take over places that's not theirs. China then already put down some kind of law in Hong Kong, and they protesting over there. Actually, they protesting everywhere in the world. It's making the coronavirus worse, but obviously this coronavirus thing is bringing out all the issues that we have in this world, and we protesting against it. Yeah, we spreading the virus more, we tearing up stuff, we making the government not want to send us money. Probably one of the reasons why they hold on and stuff, because they punishing us for doing all this protesting. Donald Trump and them is doing this, and so they punishing us. Could be that's just a crazy theory. Any rate, You know, this mask thing, you know, they starting to, in every state, every city, every county, they're starting to mandate us wearing masks. You know, it's almost not even worth it if you got 100 people wearing masks and 20 people not. You know, those 20 people are spreading it like wildfire. You know, especially with all these parties and things. There's a bumblebee messing with me out here on my porch. Any rate, check out the statistics. How many coronaviruses we got in the world? The world coronavirus, we got 16 million cases, known cases. Now, I can guarantee you, all of these cases, all these tests, all these results are underestimated. It takes weeks in order to do these tests, and by that time, more people is passing it, and they only taking tests at so many, so they can only count as many tests that they taking. So you got thousands, if not lakhs, of people not being tested, and they have coronavirus. So every number that I'm giving you is an underestimation. It's way more than that. So in the world, we got 16.1 million people as of 2 days ago tested positive for coronavirus. But realize that it's an underestimation, and it's going up every day. Some places are having 5,000-10,000 people cases every day, you know, and that's from weeks ago though. Most people that's been tested and they're giving the results is from weeks ago. Okay, and since then, 5,000-10,000 people per state or more have been positive. So 16 million people with coronavirus in the world, just the world, not just the USA. And 9 million of those people though that was sick and was in the hospital, they recovered. That's a little good news in there. 9 people of those 16 million cases have recovered from it. So people are recovering. It's just like the flu and all of that. There's going to be people dying. There's going to be more people recovering. But in the world, 645 lakh people have died. Okay, that's 645,000 people have died from coronavirus in the world. Okay, that's a lot of people in just a few months. You know, but let's just go to the USA. The USA got over 4 million people, 4.5 million people as of the other day has tested positive for coronavirus. You know, it's going up every day, probably, you know, I don't know, 10,000 cases per day in the U.S. going up every day. And these cases that I said 4.5, they could be over a week old, even though they're saying it's today. But these are tests that came back from a week ago or something, you know. Now, in America, 1.2 million people have recovered of the 4 million. You see, so that's 1/4 of those people that cases, they've recovered. But 149 lakh, you see, that's lakh is 100,000 in Indian. 149,000 people have died. 149,000 people. Now, the worst pandemic known is the Spanish flu that happened in 1918 in America. And it was considered the worst pandemic out. You know, 100 and something thousand people died in the years that it was going, because it went on for like 2 or 3 years. So in those 2 or 3 years, 100 and something thousand people died. Guess what? In just 3 or 4 months, In America, 149,000 people died. It's a little bit past the middle of the year. We still got the cold season to come with the flu and the cold and all of those other things. We're on record. We're on the way to 500,000 people or more, especially when we send kids back to school. And they saying just these kids, they talking about the kids gonna go back to school, you know, they 10 years old or, you know, some around there, they strong. But guess what? High school, college, these people are grown. Okay, they're gonna spread like crazy. And then you want to open up sports and bars. It's going, I don't, the number is just astronomical. So, there's a lot of people still dying, a lot of cases, you know, especially in like 3 real bad hotspots right now. New York was one, and then it went all the way over to, I don't know, Arizona. Now it's down south. Because in Florida, California, and Texas, the 3 places that got the most COVID cases each day, what we talking about, is really bad. Just the other day, between them, they had 500 people in one day die. You see, if you start having 500 people die per day, say in America, period, die per day, in just 10 days, that's 5,000 people. In, you know, a month, you know, you 1,500 people per month dying. You see, that's 150,000 people within 10 months. Okay? That's a lot of people. We on the verge of, I don't know what word they got past the pandemic, epidemic, and all of that. This is going to be the worst. And they don't have no cure. They trying to come up with vaccines, but guess what? They ain't never came up with no cures for none of these viruses, just vaccines, and still lots of people die. And none of these, like the flu, the cold, and all these influenza, none of them, not even half, not even a quarter, they're not as bad as the coronavirus 19. Just gonna outweigh them way. So we in trouble. And then, unfortunately, the government cannot continue to take care of all the people in America for the duration of this COVID-19, because it ain't gonna stop. Even if they get a vaccine, some people gonna need to take shots, just like the flu. Some people are not going to take the shot. Okay, and if you do, you're going to have to take this shot. They saying every year, just like the flu. But see, the flu is mostly seasonal, so they do it in the wintertime. Obviously, this virus is year round. So, I mean, if you give somebody the flu shot now, in 2 months, a month, or whatever, they're going to need another shot, because they're still going to go on every single month. There's no answer. They can't continue to give a shot to every single American every month. That don't even make sense. And there is no cure. That's why they're not looking for a cure. They're looking for a vaccine. If you know what a vaccine is. Vaccine is a small amount of the virus plus some other stuff, so that your body can know that it got this virus either before it got it or when it already got it. Hopefully, you know, you want to take the vaccine before you get it, so it can already build up these antibodies, and then it can attack the virus when it come in and help you through it. But if you already got the virus, and then you give folks with the virus this vaccine, the virus is like fighting. It's like having a whole bunch of bed bugs all over your house, or roaches, or whatever. And you got this, 5 traps. Okay, let's use mice. You got 1,000 mice. You already let them get big and a whole bunch of them. They all over the place. But you only can afford 3 mouse traps. I don't think you're going to be able to get rid of these mice that way. The same way with the vaccine. If you already got coronavirus and you're in a bad way, the vaccine is going to do little. Not say it won't do, it might help you through it just like the flu vaccine. It helps you through it. You still can get the flu, but because your body had already got antibodies to the flu, it helps it get through better. So, I mean, right now, it's bad, especially for Florida, California, and Texas, and it's gonna spread up. It's so bad in some places like Starr County. This place, Starr County, they 300%. They hospitals is overmatched 300%. They at the point now, which is so heartening. They sending people with coronavirus that's really sick because they can't take in any more people. They sending them home to pass away when they know these people can't make it because their ventilators is already used up, their beds used up. They're not going to be able to do really anything for these folks. So they're asking them to go on and go home and pass away there, literally. And unfortunately, if you got a family member who's in that situation and they got to go home and pass, they need somebody there with them. And how can you be there with the person without getting it yourself? It's a bad situation. And I don't know what they're gonna do about it. So the people, where's we gonna go from here, people? Some people still got their jobs, especially politicians. Every politician in every city, from the mayor, the council, whoever, they all can still work safely, so they getting money. The folks that's making decisions on helping the citizens are making good money. So you know that they're not pressed like we're pressed. And unfortunately, we're not making it better neither, because we partying, we protesting, and things like that. It's not good. Let me tell you some things, that's happening. I mean, we got coronavirus. We got, stimulus money that people need. Unemployment gone. Evictions about to blow up next week. Blow up. There's millions of people in America that's about to get evicted. They expect, which is, I guess, good news for people that's getting evicted, that the court's gonna be so behind. If your landlord go next week to file an eviction notice, it might be, I don't know, a month or so before you go to court, or even longer, because the courts are going to be so backed up. They probably end up, I don't know what they're going to do. But so evictions are bad, going to be up real bad next week. The protesters are getting worse. The president sending in some FBI military people to help stop the protests, and then they just making it worse. They're making it worse, all over the country. Hopefully it don't happen here where I live at in Toledo, Ohio. And speaking of Toledo, Ohio, let me tell you how many cases in Toledo, Ohio. First in Ohio, period. In Ohio, we got 83,184 cases in Ohio. That's supposed to be a day or two ago, but again, these tests are really for weeks ago. They took these swabs and stuff weeks ago. It take over a week, sometimes 2 weeks to get the results for these. So the results I'm telling you could be 2 weeks old. So that means it could be, well over 100,000, 120,000 cases, in Ohio. At least. That's tested cases. Not to mention asymptomatic people who have been tested, blasé. The same go with death toll. Ohio has over 3,200 people who died from COVID-19. These are more recent than the test, but still days, maybe a week old, because the hospitals and places that are giving these results, they don't give them each day. They giving them, it could be weeks, it could be late because they're busy. So, it's underestimated. So it's a lot. 83,000 cases in Ohio, over 3,200 deaths. Now, if you want to go way down to Lucas County, in Lucas County, we have 4,000 cases, known cases, in Lucas County area. Okay, it's more bad here on the where I live at. They even broke it down to zip codes. If you go on Ohio and look up COVID-19, or even on the news, they broke it down to the counties. Zip codes, and where the cases are at, and where it's more relevant at, like the east side, west side, south side, or whatever. But in Lucas County as a whole, we got 4,000 cases, and 311 people have died just from COVID-19. Wood County, that's out, out Miami, like Conan Street and stuff, they got 696 cases, which with 55 deaths in their area, which is smaller than Lucas County, I think. And but if you go way east, like Sandusky, they got 264 cases in that small place. Imagine a small place like that with that many cases. That's a lot of people. They only have 20 deaths though. I'm pretty sure they're not taking it as serious as they should. You get 20 deaths from just shooting in these areas. So the cases is bad. Unfortunately, in Toledo, that means, with those numbers, that means 4.8% of our population. 4.8%. That's like, for every 100 people, I think, every 100 people, there's 4, let's just say 5 people are dying. 5 people are getting tested positive for every 100 people. So if I got 100 people in my neighborhood, 5 of us each day are getting being positive. And if it just stay us, that means in 10 days, 40% of us could be affected. In 20 days, 80%. You might as well say, by the end of the month, if this was, if it was 100 people in this neighborhood, and 5 of us got tested, and we kept going around each other, not wearing masks, sitting on each other's porch and doing what we doing, by the end of the month, every single one of us have COVID-19. That's without wearing the mask, still doing what we're doing, like America's doing. We having beach parties and birthday parties and, Halloween parties, and it ain't Halloween, and, we missing each other and going downtown, and the kids are having big parties, going to the bars still, and all these things still happening. And when you partying, you ain't wearing no mask. You might have one person wear a mask and then take it off. It's a lot. And definitely, there's a lot of spitting going on when you're drinking. So it's bad out here. But worse other places. Say like in China. Even with the whole world basically going against China, and they having big problems over there. Even over here, they having big problems. America shut down the China consulate in America, and when they shut it down, they found out with these drones and different stuff. As soon as they told the China consulate to shut down, because they knew it was stuff going on there that was being reported to China. They looked inside on the roof, and the people from China was burning documents before Americans can get there and do whatever they do. So it's telling you that they was doing some shady stuff up in there. And then tick for tat, China ended up shutting down consulates in China. It's getting bad. I guess it's building up to some kind of war. It could be a Cold War, which will probably be, well, that's what's going on now. It's a Cold War and things like that. But not only that's going on in China, China has seen the worst floods they have seen in over 15, 20 years. Dams are breaking, millions, 11, 15 million people are being displaced by these floods. I mean, if you look online at China and they floods, houses, thousands and thousands of cars, buildings, everything is just being swept away. In some cases, you're seeing 2-3 story buildings falling into the river and floating down the river. I mean, I've never seen buildings this big float down the river. It's that bad. Thousands of cars just floating away. People walking through floods and just, and China not giving none of these people money. None. You don't see stimulus packages and stuff in China for this stuff that's going on. They're on their own. All of them. And it's mostly floods. Dams breaking. They got a long way to go. And then you move over to the east where, Africa and Pakistan and Iran and them, they got this, obviously COVID-19, and they're not able to, they're not even close to like America and these other countries with stimulus package, food, unemployment, none of these things. They're not even close to that. Then all of a sudden, they get locusts again. The worst locust plague they've ever seen. And I know you've seen, if you got any age to you, locust plagues over there. This is the worst. Is this the worst? And it killed all their crops and all of that. They obviously don't have much water. And then these locusts are moving over to Pakistan or whatever, Iran, and killing their crops. So they're going through it. Plus, I guess they got another virus. It's not Ebola, it's something else. The world is in peril. Then if you come back to America, Hurricane Hannah is just now hitting Texas. Now mind you, Texas is one of the worst hit coronavirus places already. Guess what? Today, they getting hit by Hurricane Hannah with 90-mile-an-hour winds, rain, floods, buildings being ripped off, all of this. I know the first thing religious people are going to say and pray, we reap what we sow, the world coming to the end, repent, all of that. If you pray, then I guess these things won't happen to you. I don't know why it happened to the people who passed away. Some of those people wasn't bad. They was praying. There's been preachers, all of that. I kind of think we own our own as a world, and we're making it worse for ourselves. Even if it was somebody helping us, we're making it worse. But unfortunately, the South, we're getting hit from the west and east, down south. There's one hurricane, I don't know the name of it, it's coming up towards, California, which is one of the places where it's an epicenter of this. Then you got Hannah and another hurricane right behind that that's just hitting Hawaii that's going to come up. And these hurricanes is kind of deep, so when they come up, they, in order to go back out to sea and stuff, they're going to be bad for the whole country. So, at the end, those are some of the things that's going on. You might have got some information from that. Peace, please, patience, wear your mask. It's going to be a lot of people upset next week because this whole money thing, coronavirus, and unfortunately some places that's getting hit by these hurricanes, they going to need money more right now. You know, they're gonna be staying with people, borrowing money from other folks. You know, like we doing now. We, you know, been through this, and it's gonna be bad. But try to, you know, make it through it. Smoke a joint or something. It always works. And you know, luckily for us, that's one thing that happened. They legalized marijuana in most places. So legally, you can go get some marijuana if you got a marijuana card. If you don't, go over somebody's house, they got one. They got weed over there. And they'll let you smoke a joint. It'll help you get through. You know, I think the government ought to just gone. And if you apply for it, you want it, send everybody an ounce and a half of marijuana, 2 ounces per person to their household to help them through this virus. The government know that prescriptions, we need medication. The president just signed the other day, about 4 or 5 days ago, a bill that lowered prescription drugs all over America. So, you know, people who getting them is gonna have lower prescription drugs. That ain't including marijuana, because the marijuana is, well, it is a prescription drug. You got to have a prescription, a card, but I don't know if that counts because they is kind of high. You know, but marijuana, that'll kill your anxiety, slow you down. It probably helps slow down some of these people that want to party and get out of here, and that kind of thing. So that's one advice to give. Talk to you later.